I've been avoiding this movie for almost 30 years, and I finally watched it. Hey, I'm Amy, and welcome back, and today I'm going to be talking about the It mini series, even though it was like a two-parter that was made in 1990. It was like a TV movie that came out in two parts, and this movie might be the reason why I'm afraid of clowns. Not because I had never seen it before. No, watching it for this video is the first time I've ever watched it, but just from seeing pictures of Tim Curry as Pennywise the clown scared me and scarred me for life. The reason that I am watching this today, as you probably have guessed, is It Chapter 2 comes out this week, and I am so excited. If you have been following my channel since I started posting videos on here about 2 years ago, you will remember that I very reluctantly went to see the first It movie, and I did not give it a very favorable review at the time because it terrified me. But after thinking about it and watching some other videos talking about it and really researching deep into the Stephen King mythology, I fell in love with the new It movie. It is probably one of my favorite, I want to say solo horror movies, but it's not really a solo horror movie since It Chapter 2 is coming out, but like it's great. It's fantastic. And I've heard great things about this one. I have started reading the novel It by Stephen King. I am not very far. I am like only into like 2 of the Adult Losers Club introduction chapters. If you have read the book and you kind of know where I am. But I have also seen Dead Meat's kill count video on the original 1990 It, the one I'm going to be talking about today. But when I started watching this movie, I did not remember much of that kill count. Some flashes of what James talked about in those 2 kill count episodes came back to me as I was watching this, but because I had seen the first of the new It series and I have been researching a lot of Stephen King's mythology and the mythology surrounding the novel It, I knew what was happening. There were still some parts where I was a little bit surprised? I don't know. There was just some parts that were a little bit new to me. And of course, because this is a not new movie review that is going to be going with a new movie review, I will be doing some predictions for said movie, for the new movie, at the end of this video, so stick around if you want to hear my predictions. There wasn't much that I disliked about it. It probably, to me, wasn't as scary as I, 1, had thought it would be, or 2, compared to the new It movie, just because a lot of the older horror movies aren't necessarily scary to me. I mean, it's still scary in a lot of ways, but not like the big jump scares that we get in a lot of modern horror movies or in the most recent iteration of It. I did really love how they interspersed the Adult Losers Club along with the younger Losers Club, unlike what they have done in this new iteration where they split it up into the younger ones and then some younger with mostly older in Chapter 2. It gives you a better sense of why each individual character is scared of Pennywise in their own different way, which you do get that a lot in this one, but I feel like it's a little bit more doubled down upon, and it gives you a lot more in-depth, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little bit more psychological context as to why these things are terrifying. The 1990 version of It, though, still does a really great job of showcasing the adults not really believing in the kids' fears of whatever it is showing to them. But something that this film does not do very well is its pacing. I mean, it is a rather large book, and this film is fairly long. It's over 3 hours. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to show, but when it's switching between the adults and the kids, it does lose a little bit of its pacing for me. It just feels like it's taking a little bit too long to get anywhere, especially in a scene at the beginning of the second part where Mike and Bill are fixing Bill's old bike, Silver, and there's this weird, comedic, very goofy scene where the 2 of them are just riding around. It's a montage, and it has this like really goofy music on. but it's juxtaposed right after a rather serious scene. It just felt like something that didn't really quite fit, but with some much needed levity throughout the film, including the scene at the Chinese restaurant. And one final thing before I get to my predictions, I cannot not, is that one? Yes. I cannot do this video and not talk about Pennywise in general. Like Bill Skarsgård versus Tim Curry. They are both terrifying in their own ways. Bill Skarsgård, for me personally, it is the makeup and the way he like contorts and arranges his face that makes him so super creepy. But Tim Curry, like I said at the beginning, is probably one of the reasons why I think clowns are so terrifying. There is just this creepy way that he is funny that all clowns are, and I have just never been able to put my finger on why or explain and verbalize why I feel this way. It's just something inherent deep down inside me that makes it so creepy. And Tim Curry is just such a natural at it. Plus, he's such an amazing actor in general that it's just terrifying. And now for my predictions. There are two scenes that I know we are going to be getting. One of them was in the It miniseries. It is the scene with Beverly going to see the old woman that lives in Bev's old apartment. We got that in the first It Chapter 2 teaser trailer. It is extremely terrifying. This one, it wasn't as creepy or scary. The only thing that really made it scary was when Beverly leaves the house and she sees that it's all boarded up and that it was all kind of in her imagination, or that Pennywise was making this facade for her to believe in. And then the other scene is one that I know we will be getting based on interviews that I listened to on Variety's Big Ticket podcast that was released on Friday. They talked to Jessica Chastain, who plays the older Beverly, as well as Sophia, I forget her last name, the girl who played young Beverly, plus Andy Muschietti, the director. There is going to be a scene at the beginning of the film that is a scene from the beginning of the book, which I have read this scene already. It is a very intense scene that I think will be really hard to watch. Also a really great scene for a lot of people to see because it does tell a really like terrifying story and will get everybody in the right mindset for this. If you have read the book, it is the scene where the gay couple is accosted by a couple of Derry locals and one of the men is killed. It is a very intense scene. I know it's gonna be very hard to watch, but things like this still do happen and it is very much a word of warning. Then there are a couple other things that I have more predictions about, and I did look at the IMDb page, so it kind of spoiled a little bit of one of these predictions for me, but I won't tell you which one it is. Actually, never mind. I just looked at them again and you probably will be able to guess which one that is. One of my predictions is that the fight scene at the end, the showdown between the Adult Losers Club and Pennywise, will be a little bit more epic only because there is such a time difference between these two films. It is almost 30 years. The effects have gotten a lot better, and because the 1990 It was a TV movie, they couldn't really do a lot of what they would want to do for this. So I think the fight scene is going to be a lot more epic and a lot more terrifying, considering that the final fight scene at the end of the first It in 2017 was very terrifying and a lot more intense than it was in the 1990 version, even though I did really like the one in the 1990 version with the Young Losers Club. And my final prediction has to do with Henry Bowers. In the 1990 version, he doesn't necessarily die or anything happens to him. He ends up getting put into an insane asylum or some kind of care facility. That's where he stays. In the 2017, Henry Bowers seems to fall down the well when he is chasing the Younger Losers Club, so he seems to have died. But I do predict that he will be coming back to do something. Maybe Pennywise got a hold of him down in the sewers and something may happen. I don't know what, but I do think that Henry Bowers will be coming back. But that is pretty much all my thoughts on the 1990 It, as well as some thoughts and kind of a re-review of the new It, even though I didn't really re-review that one. I love it a lot. Let me know your predictions for the new It in the comments down below, or let me know your thoughts on the 1990 It, anything. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate you, whoever you are, and let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking things, movies, TV shows, filmmaking, mystery, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!